Alright gamers, welcome to my 13.18 Sivir ADC gameplay guide. This game we're going to be playing Sivir Lux, and for runes we're going to be running a newish setup. Airy with Mana Flow Band into Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm, and for secondary runes we're going to be running Presence of Mind and Legend Bloodline, but you can also do Inspiration with Career Boots and Biscuit Delivery. There might be an invisible Twitch somewhere, they've got a Twitch support. Or I guess he probably just ganked somewhere and I wasn't paying attention because I was listing my runes. I'm guessing that's what happened because we've seen him at some point. Since we can see a support item there. Don't know where he is. Anyway, in the early game here, we're going to want to play around our Mana Flow Band. Point of this page is just to have as much early game pressure as possible. Every time we hit an opponent with area, that's going to be extra poke added on. I could try and Q her right now. Oh, actually I guess I will, just to get the kill. Usually though, I wouldn't bother trading as soon as my Q comes up. We want to delay it until the Mana Flow Band is actually coming either off cooldown or like immediately coming off cooldown as you use Q. We can leave this wave. I want Lux to not touch the wave with her E, and we could just base here. If she would touch the wave, I guess I might have to stay. I want her... Nope. Yeah. She's gonna ruin the wave state. The thing is, I can't... So we could still just base, but I can't risk like starting to base, and then she just stays. She just left as well, it's so annoying. I think I'm gonna have to leave here. This wave state should be fine. Really annoying though. Can we get a double... we can get a double longsword. Let's just hope the Kai'Sa doesn't crash this in time. Lux made it awkward for me. She's trying to crash it as fast as she can, but it's early game. Kai'Sa doesn't have tremendously good wave clear yet, and her support also isn't in the lane for whatever reason. Is Twitch... Oh, Twitch got a kill. I assume he just reganked somewhere. Yeah, this page is gonna be stronger in the early game than the usual pages, but definitely gonna scale worse for sure. Nice thing about this page as well is that Airy procs off of your W, so this can be very useful later on. But in the early game, you don't want to use it too much because Mana Flow Band doesn't proc off your W. So you pretty much need to be using Q a lot in order to stack Mana Flow Band. And if you're constantly wasting your mana on W, then you're not going to have enough mana to stack Mana Flow Band early on. So early game, mainly focus on Q trades. That's why we put one point in Q, then E, even though we could do W, and then another point in Q, just avoiding using W entirely. So you can just play it entirely around the Q. And the item that we're going to be rushing as well is going to be Static Shiv. Static Shiv, the passive. Ooh. Okay, nice one. Yeah, the passive from Static Shiv, the AoE thing, it actually procs area as well, so it's pretty nice. It's also a little bit underrated on the server anyway. Some people just don't think it's necessary on her because of her absurdly good wave clear that she already has even without building a wave clear item. And I was one of those people until I actually tried it because I was trying out this build, and I actually gotta say I've changed my mind. It is actually tremendously good having Static Shiv on server, particularly for the early game. The early game is where your wave clear hasn't really turned on yet. I mean, you can clear a wave with QW, but it costs a lot of mana. You build Static Shiv though, you get a ton of wave clear just from using W, and a lot of poke as well. Makes it very uninteractive for the enemies. There we go. Okay, this is just like too free a double Q hit, so I'm gonna use my Q there even though Mana Flow wasn't up. Now Mana Flow is up, so we go for it again. This could be a kill. That should be a kill. Oof. Okay. We're gonna back off. There's no reason to fight Twitch there, and I should be lost hitting. Okay, so now we can actually use W because we want a wave clear. You can see that even after using W and Q, Coster is still alive. Need to use autos for that. The melees are nowhere near dead. I could also go for that plating, but I won't bother at this point. Actually, what we can do instead here actually is this. This gets us closer to the static shiv. And allows us to spend more of our gold. Sivir's one of the best ADCs, I would say, anyway, to build early crit cloak on, because of the fact that, you know, her her Q also has a crit scaling, now that I think about it, so it even increases her Q poke. And on top of that, it also just obviously increases the amount of damage you can do with your W if you do happen to use that. Which, I mean, we can probably just start using it now anyway. I'm using Presence of Mind, so I don't run out of mana too easily, and I already have a lot of mana flow band stacks. We should be able to complete mana flow band before the next base. Gonna last set this cannon while I can, while there's no minions here, so I know nothing isn't gonna randomly start focusing it. Oh, I have ult. I'll exhaust Twitch. Keeps Luxel alive a little bit longer, and now we should be able to kill him fairly easily, I hope. Oh, that was a close one. It was insanely fast there. Okay, not bad. Oh man, no way that plating was actually still up. Awesome. Oh boy, we're getting ganked. Gotta move into a position where I'm fairly flexible. So long as it's just Katarina by herself, hopefully I'm fine. And it's not Katarina by herself, but we spell shield the stun. I may actually live now. I'm gonna pop a potion. Ah. Okay, I tried. Bit unfortunate. And we know we got the static shiv. And that was where the interesting part of the build would start. So the way that people actually generally tend to build Sivir when they're using this rune setup is they do Black Cleaver second into Dustblade. But personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. It probably has its place, but it's fairly similar to like the old Lethality Sivir playstyle, where it's not very good against tanks, for example, so it's definitely not a build you can run every game. Now, I'd say in a game like this, I don't think Brara does that much damage, right? And Mundo is definitely a tank who doesn't do too much damage. So our comp isn't necessarily like stacked in DPS. So we could probably do with our ADC doing a bit of DPS. So despite using this rune setup, I still think it works perfectly fine even if you're just doing a crypt build, which is what we're going to do. It would work perfectly fine with a Navori. Okay, Twitch is on the way. So is Renekton. I was hoping to hit Renekton there, but that works. Alright, now we got the mana flow stacked. Now we can really just start spamming the W, especially having the static shiv at the same time. Okay, we already did about 120 damage to Kai'Sa there without really interacting with her. She's almost dead. I haven't even gotten in range of her, but we just have such a ridiculous amount of damage. Use this build, even without the AoE, just the static shiv alone already would give you so much like poke damage. Don't actually have Q up there to zone her, but I can stand in front of her as if I'm trying to pressure her, but I'm not. I can tell that hit Kai'Sa because my Presence of Mind procced. Okay, nice. Oh, she just can't approach. We can just try that. Oh, and the AoE gets her. Let's go. Is he gonna flash on me? Flash on Lux? No, he's not doing anything right now. Ooh, that could be good. so close. I'll just pop R and then we should have him. There we go. Okay, nice. Not too bad. Not gonna be able to finish the turret on this push, so we'll just switch to wave clearing. Next wave should hopefully be enough.
You can't tame the desert.
We picked Sivir this game, by the way, because I usually like to pick my ADC depending on my support if I'm not just determined to pick any particular ADC, regardless of circumstances. We picked Sivir with Lux here because whenever Lux hits a Q, that's pretty much always going to be a free Sivir. Hang on. Going for Navori, so there we go. Yeah, whenever Lux hits a Q, that's going to be a free Sivir double hit on her Q, which is insanely valuable. Obviously, any lockdown support is going to be also able to provide the same benefit, but Sivir's follow-up to engages is not necessarily like what you would want from an engage support who would rather have an ADC who can just jump in on the enemies and like one-shot them, like a Lucian or a Samira, Tristana. But obviously Lux is more of a poke-based mage and like long-range burst. She doesn't want something who all-ins because she's not really about setting up all-ins. She's just about poking from a distance. So Sivir just perfectly fits with that playstyle. Really good pick to pair with Lux. And we can just shove in one more wave here. I assume it's probably fine. There is a Renekton in the area. We know he just did Drake, but I got exhaust up, I got flash. I reckon I can shove this in. And he's also kind of low, it seems. Let's see if he's gonna pop through here. No? Okay. Then let's go towards mid lane, see if we can pressure the Katarina at all. Ooh. Oh. Alright, I don't want to go too far forwards there. Oh, but I'll very... Oh, I was going to say kindly take the rep there, but oh well. Yeah, I don't want to get collapsed on by Katarina, but I can actually like survive in lane against her. Because I got my exhaust up, and she's also kind of low. Easily burstable. Oh. Okay, I'm going to have to rotate the bot. Thing is, I would go top, but Darius can easily just like rotate back to the turret, so I'm not going to bother. I'm going to go bot. So I can actually defend this wave. Or, oh, she's not even pushing, actually. Well, I can still kill her, I guess. She doesn't have vision. We'll see what she does. Okay, she doesn't seem to have left, so it's a free kill. There we go. And we can just go for another ball in wave. I think we can get away with this. Shouldn't be anybody that can come here and kill us. Katarina already being dead at least. Okay, at this point I have so much gold, I definitely want to go and spend this before I do anything else on the map. So for third item, I think I'm just going to go for Phantom Dancer. Phantom Dancer seems really good here. So it's really good on Sivir regardless of circumstances. It's similar to Xayah, where it's a really solid third item on her. Because they both scale really well with attack speed, like Xayah. With Xayah, it's for the sake of just getting her feathers out a lot quicker. For Sivir, it's about, you know, the more attack speed she has, the more the bounces she will get per cost. And they're both Navori ADCs as well, and Navori indirectly scales with attack speed, as the more attacks you use, the more you'll lower your cooldowns. And remember, I've got exhaust, so I don't have to be too afraid here. Okay. I'm just gonna pressure here. I have nearly got ult up, I've got both summoners up, I'm not terribly afraid. Look at that damage. We've harassed with the W again, I can see because Presence of Mind proc. You just do so much uninteractive damage on Sivir in general, but especially with this build where Aerie procs every single time. I'll check in a second just how much damage I've got from Aerie. I'm just gonna try and steal this first. Can we maybe rotate bot as well? No, I think we should just continue pushing this mid lane turret. We've done so far 690 damage, so for example Lux with her Comet has done about 720 damage. So just barely outdamaged us, and a mage who like actually has a much more like damage focused keystone. We've almost done the same damage, and this damage from Ares is going to keep scaling up the more AD we get as well. It'll massively ramp up in the mid game, I believe, if we actually start fighting. Okay, we're rotating top. I really want to pick this up though. Yeah, this should be an easy kill. Oh, didn't mean to get hit by that, my bad. Alright, cool. Alright, she's gonna go back to top lane, I'm gonna go back to mid. We can look to base soon, but I'd like to at least shove in one mid lane wave first, so that I'm not missing farm from my base. You could consider a little bit greedy potentially, because it means that I'm just delaying spending this massive amount of gold, which, if we're unlucky, might lead to me getting into a fight without having spent it, which would be terrible. Or potentially terrible if we would lose the fight because I haven't spent my gold. But I also don't want to miss farm, and I don't think there's going to be a fight anytime soon, so I'm just going to get started on pushing that. Instant wave clear. I'm going to back off to a very safe distance where there's no chance of a fight being baited by my unsafe recall. Now we should base. So I want to emphasize though that this could definitely be interpreted as greedy, because like for example, say my Mundo is about to get... Ooh, nice. Is about to get ganked. If I had recalled like 30 seconds sooner, I would be in a perfect position to rotate over and do something about it. But if it happened while I was like still in lane, having not spent my gold, I wouldn't want to do that because I really want to spend my gold, and I don't want to get into a fight before I've done that. And for example, right now, if it happened right now, I would be walking into lane, so again, I could not join even if I wanted to. The faster you recall, the more options you have, basically. So you gotta try and find the balance, usually, between maximizing your farm, but also making sure you're not just like overly staying in lane for too long, and not spending your gold and buying your items, because you're afraid of missing out on a small bit of irrelevant CS. That being said, I was somewhat sure. The only thing that made me unsure about my decision was Mundo being overextended on top lane, but aside from that, it didn't feel to me like any fight might break out, so I thought I was probably fine to maximize CS in that situation. But again, the absolute safest move would have been to just base immediately, so I'm ready for anything. My bad, I should have rotated here sooner. I wasn't paying attention. We should be able to get him at least. There we go. I can continue pushing top as well. I'll get a Vamp Scepter next for sure. I could do with some more survivability. Just a bit, because so for example, if obviously I very easily survive a duel with Darius there, but now I'm like 60% HP. Not 100%. I'd rather be 100%. I'm safer if I'm 100% HP. The more lifesteal I have, the safer I'm going to be throughout the game. Especially when you're ahead, it's very important. The more ahead you are, the less important it is to... Yeah, less important it is to build damage, and more important it is to just, like, stay alive to deal that damage, and also to not hand over a massive shutdown, for example. We can go bot here. Top lane is 2 pushed in, mid lane is being taken over by Briar. Bot lane is not, like a amazing farming opportunity, but it's something. They should also not be going too aggressive there, because even if I were to rush over, I'm not going to get there immediately. They might get into a fight and lose. So I'm going to shove this wave. That my W was a bit overkill there. There we go, and we shoved that other wave just because it was so close. If I had to farm it like here, too risky, but if I'm farming it here, especially when we had so much vision of the enemies, it's perfectly safe, so no reason not to farm 2 waves there. That should be a kill. Oh man, where's the follow-up? This is 139 damage to Twitch just from 1 W bounce, and then he dies, regardless of the damage, but just saying. So we've gained about 300 damage from Ares since we last pointed it out. Like, the damage scales up really fast. That being said, despite how how greatly the damage scales up, it is still a worse scaling option than lethal tempo. I only point out like how well it scales to point out like how it doesn't like start being useless after laning phase, right? It is still at its most powerful in laning phase. Still haven't actually outdamaged Lux though, but we're staying like really close at least. Lux is common, I mean. We've almost certainly outdamaged her as a champion. I hardly needed to exhaust Katarina, my bad. Yeah, Dread. Ooh, hello. I can kill Twitch there if I get... Yep. Both Q hits. Awesome. Okay, they slightly messed that up, but they needed to find a way to... Like, Renekton basically needed to find a way to stun me. So I think he managed to bait out my spell shield, but then he was like too slow to actually stun me before I just flashed away. There was a small window there where I think he baited my spell shield with his Q, and then he would have wanted to use W, but just didn't do it quite in time. Is she half HP just from my bounces? I wouldn't be surprised. $187 damage there without even any crits. Okay, we're a bit pushed here. Not necessarily overextended, because we have so much vision on the map. We would probably know if we're being collapsed on. Ooh. Oh, they are just so grouped up there. That was insane. Oh, and Death Spell Shield. There we go. But I just don't like the idea of running this build without Rit. Just doing that Black Cleaver version, because you can see we're just doing so much damage. I would base now and spend my gold, but pretty much everybody's dead. It's just the Kai'Sa that's alive, so I want to be abusing their death timers to get something. Generally though, I want to avoid getting into any fights before I've spent all this gold. So we're just gonna pick this up, and we leave. Notice well, we've done 2,000 damage from Static Shiv. But when you notice like how little we're actually auto-attacking champions, most of the time at least, it is very likely we'd have actually done this much damage with Kraken Slayer. And also, even the times where I'm actually auto-attacking the enemies, it's mostly because they're playing stupid. Because I'm way too far ahead for them to really be taking fights. Ideally we should be doing Baron, but honestly we can just group bot. Like anything will work at this point. I'd just rather group with my team and not have to coordinate something like Baron. Damn. Okay, that's gonna gonna be Darius with his passive charged up. I don't know how long it lasts. Is it as long as that thing lasts? I'm not sure. I don't think so. No, because it's attached to his passive, not to his ultimate. So his passive is just not stacked anymore. Cool. What the hell is that heal about? Yeah, the Black Cleaver builds are just a lot more focused on Q-poke, but I find that it's just much better to play around your W. Oh. I should be fine here. Like, even with the air playstyle, the W-focused builds are still really effective. How much damage have we done now with Aerie? 1,500. So this is I think this is the first time where my support actually keeps up with my Aerie damage with their Comet. Okay, we should actually pop ult here just to be more effective as a team. Might have done it too late now though. Oh well. Oh, that actually killed her. Holy crap. Nice one. Alright, and that's GG. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.